Zev returned to Drake Towers, fuming. They threw their bag down on a counter before noticing a watch there. It looks burned. It smells like gas. Nuha walked downstairs. Everything all right? No. Where's Atsu? Upstairs. Is this a family meeting? Should I jump out a window now and avoid another half hour of telling Oscar he has to wash his underwear every week? No, a bit more important than that. Alright then. Oh, when did Oscar give you that watch? Why did Oscar give you that watch? Oscar? Yes, I saw it in his room once. Why were you in his room? Snooping, obviously. It's Oscar's? Huh. It was lying on the counter here. Did I hear my name in underwear? Do I need to go hide? Is this another intervention? Zev held up the watch. I just found this. Why do you have that? I just found it. Did you go in my room? What? No, I just found it here on the counter. I see. Sorry. Is this another intervention? Zev eyed Oscar curiously before glancing back to Atsu. No, but I'm glad you're here. I just visited Akon and you won't believe what he told me. Oh, brother, this ought to be good. He's selling Drake Towers to Faisal. He's doing what? He can't sell Drake Towers! Where will Oscar and Nuha go? Hiawatha and Tala! He said they'd be allowed to move with us to the new place. But none of that matters. If he sells this place to Faisal, Faisal will own more than half the block. He'll be able to exert tremendous pressure on Agatha and the others that still live here. There's no way in hell I'm letting him help Faisal. If it's my father, you can rest assured he's playing dirty somehow. But if it's my father, he shouldn't be susceptible to an attack like that. Everyone has weaknesses. Even Akon. Yeah, he has you. I mean, you're not wrong. Well, that's bullshit. I'm gonna go talk to him. No one go out while I'm gone. Adro stormed out. Zev glanced at Oscar and pocketed the watch. Mio, Akon said you'd be returning with him when he leaves. Well, I originally only came here for a little while. It wasn't my intention to stay forever, just long enough to bring you two back with me. Do you want to go? I mean, I'm just a kid. It was selfish of me to run away in the first place. That's not what she asked. I don't know. Mio turned and headed out of the room. Zev followed after her. A little later, Adro had crossed town to find his father. Akon Drake, you jerk! How could you tell the kids first without even talking to me? Hi, Dad. Good to see you again. These aren't exactly the circumstances for that, are they? Akon sighed. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, but you can't tell the children. Faisal has somehow gotten his hands on pictures of Mio in dragon form. What? Really? Yes, and he's threatening to post them online if I don't sell. I don't know how he got them, and I have no way of knowing how many backups he has. I can't stop him from releasing them if he really wants to. That's coercement! Yes, well, should I sue him, son? That'll take years, and in the meantime, every half-baked would-be dragon hunter in the world will salivate at the chance to go down in history as the slayer of the last dragon. You should have at least explained it to them. I frankly don't want to hear that from you. Had I not entrusted her well-being to you, we might not be in this mess. Excuse me? We've been extremely careful. It's not our fault we've got a psychopath capitalist hounding us. You knew how important protecting that secret was. You're seriously blaming me for this. Who else should I blame? I don't know. Faisal? Or maybe stop looking for someone to blame and start looking for a solution. When the kids left and came here, I thought that was inevitable. Eventually, anyone would get sick of living how I live. But my one relief was knowing that they were going to be safe with you. I thought you left to get away from all this. I never would have sent them here if I'd known you were picking a fight with someone like Faisal. I already lost my wife. I'm not going to sacrifice my daughter. She was my mom too. And Mio is my sister too. And I'm your son, too. So could you please stop acting like I don't know what the stakes here are? Adro stormed off. Meanwhile, as the sun sets over Haven City, Oscar sits atop Drake Towers. You okay up here? Huh? Oh, yeah, just floating. Atsu chuckled and sat down next to Oscar. If you're worried about not being able to move with us, don't worry. I'll make sure there's room for you. At least a closet. Not my closet, but someone's. Hardy har har. It's not that. Well, it's a little bit that. You know, weirdly, I guess I feel like this was inevitable. Oh, come on. We'll figure something out. Don't start getting all defeatist on me. Maybe we will, but things will change. Probably, but not all change is bad. Remember how we were when we first met? I do. To you? Huh? Nothing. Never mind. Well, we were at each other's throats. Now we kinda get along. That's changed too. Oh, would you just admit that I'm your best friend already? Never. Oscar grinned, but his smile faltered as panic swept over him. I forgot the watch. Meanwhile, downstairs. So, what is it? It's hard with so much damage, but it looks like the watch hides a tracking device. A tracking device? Don't worry, it's been disabled. Disabled? A disabled tracking device? Why would Oscar have that? Well, it's a watch. It must have been used to track him. Agent Johnson was the kind of guy who'd want to know where his minions were, right? A burned watch. Johnson. Oscar. Tracking. Mio. Could you find the last location that this watch sent a signal from? Sure. Give me a second. Suddenly the door burst open as Oscar rushed in. Atsu followed behind. Zev, the watch, you gotta... Shut up. Zev, you gotta hear me. Shut up. Zev, be nice. Atsu, cram it for 1 minute. Is everything okay? Just tell me where it was, Mio. Mio hesitated as she looked between Oscar and Zev. The sky over Alabama? Zev glanced at Oscar intensely. Mio, please go away for a minute. I don't think I should. Mio, it'll be fine. Give Zev a moment. Mio nodded slowly and headed out. That's where the plane Atsu and I were in was shot down by Agent Johnson. This tracking beacon is how he found us, isn't it? Oscar gulped loudly. Meanwhile, downstairs at Drake Tower's kitchen, Hiawatha and Adro shared drinks. I'm really sorry to put you through all this. That's okay. Us living here was always kind of a temporary solution. Though I was glad to have so many kids around for Tala to play with. I was glad to have another adult around to help out. I'll still be here, whatever happens. Adro smiled. Suddenly the door opened and Akon stepped in. Hiawatha glanced at Adro. Guess I'll excuse myself. I'll talk to you later. Hiawatha stood and walked out. What do you want? I came to apologize. That would be a first? I probably deserve that. Listen, I'm worried about my little girl, and I took that out on you. I'm sorry. I'm not even mad about that. I'm mad that you gave me shit for not doing a good enough job taking care of these kids. These kids are your responsibility. I took them in because I had no other choice. You're right. When they decided to leave, I should have stopped them. No, you should have followed them. What? Have you ever even considered that when a kid runs away, what they really want is for their parent to hunt them down? Is that what you wanted? Maybe. I don't know. Things were different then. Mom had just died, the professor died, the whole world was falling apart. And you resent me because I didn't pick you over the world? No! Well, maybe a little. But I always admired you for your heroism. I knew the things you were doing were more important than me. Never. Not once. Not one moment was the work I was doing ever more important than you. It was for you. It's for them. When I was a kid, attorneys like you, good men like you, they ended up dead. The professor took care of them. The fact that you can be as amazing as you are and still be safe, that was the world I was fighting to create. Thanks, Dad. But, you know, you won. You beat the professor. You put out the fire that his death started. When I was a kid, you had no choice but to keep going. And so I had no choice but to let you go. But now I think you could choose to slow down. Take a break. It is a different world. Can I admit something incredibly narcissistic to you? You think the world will fall apart as soon as you stop holding it together, right? In spite of myself, I do. But you know, the world's got to learn to stand on its own eventually, right? And meanwhile, man, you are missing it. Missing it. These kids need you right now. They're scared. They're about to lose their home. And this might be the last time that they ever feel that way. Because I've let them down? Because they're growing up. Soon they're going to be able to handle these problems on their own. This is your last chance to be a part of it. But if I take the chance, Mio is going to be in danger. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. That's true. So let me ask you an important question. How does she feel about that? I guess I don't know. And that sounds like a good place to start. Meanwhile, upstairs. I can explain. No, I can explain. You see, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. We were kidnapped by Johnson, held for days. Akon sent his pilot to break us out. We got onto his plane and then escaped. A classic Akon adventure. Until the rocket hit our plane. The jet was magically and technologically protected against being seen or tracked. How did the rocket find us? That was always the mystery. But what if a minion of Johnson snuck onto the plane? What if his little transceiver watch sent a signal back to Johnson? Suddenly it all makes sense. I didn't mean to. I just wanted... You were a fan, right? I remember you told me that once. Seeing us in real life, maybe you thought maybe you could swap sides, become a main character, become our friend. Zev, you're scaring him. Good! I nearly died, Atsu. And so did you. Did you suddenly forget? Weren't you the one that suspected he was against us from the start? I did, but then I got to know him. That's the worst part, Atsu. That's the worst part. He gets to live with us, to know us, to be our friend. He took my legs in your eye, and he still gets to live his little fanboy dreams. Zev, that's... And then he pushes us to go out and help people. He has the audacity to start orchestrating his own private run of a new season of our adventures, when he's the reason we're not capable of helping anyone, including ourselves. That's enough! Oscar turned and bolted out of the room. Atsu went to follow, but hesitated. You're taking this surprisingly well. Well, you're taking it surprisingly poorly. You knew, didn't you? I had a hunch. Ugh, Zev groaned. That's it. I'm going back with Akon and Mio. I'm going home. What? Drake Towers is toast, Atsu. We failed. We didn't help anyone here. Maybe if I go back to working with Akon, things will be better. At least things were simpler then. But Akon wanted you to have your own team. What team? I can't trust Oscar. Mio's leaving. Nuha's dad is our enemy. What team? You've always got me. You keep saying that, but then you keep letting me down. Atsu flinched. No, you have every right to be mad at Oscar, but you didn't even give him a chance to explain himself. You just ambushed him and used him as a punching bag for all the things you feel bad about. That's not what the Zev I know would do. You're better than that. Today you let me down. Atsu rushed out to look for Oscar. Zev looked down at their lap. They rested their hands on the armrest of their wheelchair. Maybe I used to be.